For more on this, our Chip Patterson tapping in this AM. And Chip, we want to talk about some kryptonite to some of those CFP games and teams that we'll see here, because you have an article on CBS Sports looking at some of those. And let's start with number 7, Notre Dame. What's their hurdle here in their game?
Oh, fascinating one here, because I'm looking at the profile. Everything looks good. And I'm like, Notre Dame, not good at third downs. That's funny. Why are they one of the worst teams in third downs? Well, they have found themselves in a lot of third and long scenarios. They are a team that likes to run the football, and they are not the best drop back passing team in the college football playoff. But Brandon, here is the curveball of all curveballs, because do you know what Notre Dame does not do at a rate that is different than everyone else at the FBS level? Get to third down. Okay, I can explain it very easily. So that means a Notre Dame drive goes like this: first down, second down, first down, first down, first down, second down. They don't even get to third downs because they're so good on those early downs. But in the game against Northern Illinois, their lone loss of the season, and in some of their games that have been tighter and a little bit more sweaty coming down the stretch as they were working their way towards the college football playoff, the third down conversion rate remains the one anomaly, the one outlier, the sore thumb in Notre Dame's profile. So they're not great at third downs. Indiana, you got to get them to third down, because guess what Notre Dame doesn't do? They don't even have to face third downs most of the time.
Yeah, Ryan Harris, he might have a conversation with you on that Notre Dame take there. But you just mentioned Kurt Signetti in Indiana. Some might say that early down success could be a problem. You agree with that?
Yeah, especially against elite teams. You know, the Indiana had sort of two different bodies of work. When they went up against lesser competition, they bludgeoned them. And we are talking about the #1 scoring margin in the entire country, beating opponents by more than 20 points per game. But in the close win, 20-15 against Michigan, and in the 20-23-point loss to Ohio State, we saw that Indiana offense that operates as one of the most efficient in the country really run into some frustrations. And so I went back and I said, why did that happen? Why were they not as efficient? Specifically, not just because, oh, they were playing good defenses. And Brandon, it came down to what they did on first and second down, because when they were able to get a good gain, when they were able to, get 5-6 yards either from the passing attack or from the run game, it set them up for something where I think Indiana is at its best when it can stress the defense. However, when Curtis Rourke was in obvious third and long scenarios, it was very tough to be able to convert those. Ohio State and Michigan were able to pin their ears back, apply a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And so that's why, from play calling, from execution, top to bottom, Indiana's got to be good on first and second down, because this Notre Dame defense is much closer to Ohio State and Michigan than it was to the Purdue team that the Hoosiers absolutely bludgeoned in the regular season finale.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. They're 0-13 when it comes to ranked teams. Their last win in 2020 against Wisconsin. So we'll see if that changes here this weekend. On the opposite side, you got Texas facing Clemson. What's their biggest struggle bus come Saturday?
Red zone. Oh, my goodness, this Texas team, Quinn Ewers, Steve Sarkisian, a bad habit from last season bleeds over into 2024. And I look even at the SEC championship game as a great example of where the Longhorns might be in trouble because of self-inflicted wounds and missed opportunities. So Texas has one of the worst red zone conversion rates among all the teams that are in the college football playoff, outside of the top 80 nationally. And they are top 10 nationally in terms of getting into the red zone. So simply put, they do a great job of moving it between the 20s, but when the field gets small, they do a very poor job of executing in those scenarios. And so I think back to the SEC championship game where Texas had 3 opportunities in the red zone. They walked away with 2 field goals from those 3 opportunities. So where were the points lost in your 3-point overtime loss? Those 3 red zone opportunities could have been 21 points, but instead it was 6. And that -15, I think that is something that is very, very dangerous for the Longhorns. When they get to the red zone, they need to get touchdowns, because otherwise that is a more talented team letting their opponent hang in the game.
Yeah, a lot of people hoping that would change if Arch Manning can use those legs once you get in that red zone. We'll see if that happens. Outside of that, Ohio State, look, they missed out on getting into the Big Ten championship. You didn't beat Michigan, so this is a statement game for Ryan Day and the crew, but what's their weakest link come Saturday?
it's going to be up front on offense. That offensive line has been banged up. They're dealing with injuries. They're having to move a lot of pieces around. And I think that there have been too many times this season where that group's inability to both get a push in the run game and also protect Will Howard, that really ends up being, to your word earlier, the kryptonite for Ohio State's offense. Because you look at this group on paper, and man, they should be so much better than what they are, especially when they go up against the best competition. And so Will Howard is a much worse passer when he is under pressure. He makes mistakes when he is under pressure. Michigan did a fantastic job of that, and that led to a lot of turnovers. That led to a lot of failed drives for Ohio State. We also saw in that Michigan game, Trevion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins. This should be the best 1-2 punch at running back in the entire sport, and you're not able to go out there and spring the explosive plays you need. So this is going to be a whole team effort. You have got to be better on the offensive line. You've got to scheme things open, make it easy for everyone, because from Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Buka, Trevion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, the skill position talent is too good for Ohio State's offense to fall short against the best defenses that they play. And I mean, look, Tennessee is going to be one of the best defenses they've played all year. Every college football playoff team, for the most part, has a good defense. This offensive line has to play above its head at a high level for the Buckeyes to go on a run.
All that money in NIL, $20 million. That's all we talked about coming into this season, and this is where we are. It sounds like it's a panic here in this game when it comes to the Buckeyes and also Ryan Day. As always, Chip Patterson laying it out there, the kryptonite, what we might see in those games. Taking a look at the schedule here. Appreciate it, Chip. We just talked about it there, 10 versus 7, Indiana and the fighting Ryan Harris at 8 p.m. on Friday. Then Saturday we'll get busy. SMU and Penn State, we'll see if James Franklin and the crew can advance there. Clemson and Texas, then Tennessee, and oh boy, Ohio State Saturday at 8 Eastern.